Okay.
Sorry.
Hello, everybody. This is Gerald Celente, and it's Wednesday, August 2nd, the day after the full moon. And we have with us again a man of men, somebody we're very grateful and honored to have with us, Judge Andrew Napolitano. His heart is the heart of a true American spirit and a patriot. And not only that, it's not only in thoughts and deeds and mind, it's in knowledge and facts. And the facts are that I will put anybody in the United States up against him when it comes to discussing the realities and the facts of what used to be a Bill of Rights and a Constitution. Judge, thanks for being here today.
Pleasure, Gerald. Thank you for the generous introduction.
Well, it's the truth. And you have another article, and it'll be out tomorrow. And the title of it, Government and the Freedom of Speech. Quote, Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech, the First Amendment of the Constitution. And you write, the First Amendment is a negative right. It does not grant the freedom of speech. Rather, it restrains Congress from abridging right that pre-existed Congress. So, when you talk about freedom of speech, you have no freedom. All you have to do is believe the crap that the government shoves down your throat and swallow it. And if you don't believe what the government believes, and you could think for yourself and have the own facts to think for yourself, that's misinformation.
A perfect example of that is the interplay between the First Amendment, RFK Jr., Facebook, and the vaccines. Okay. So RFK Jr., like you and me, like a lot of other people who live to move the dial of public opinion, in your case and in my case, it's towards human freedom, and the same with Bobby, challenged the government on the vaccines, and we're prepared to argue, and we're arguing that these are not vaccines. A vaccine gives you a small dose of the disease. You develop the antibodies, you don't get the major disease. These are just palliatives to make you feel good. And there's a scientific argument for that. Put that on Facebook. The government goes to Facebook and says, take that down. Take it down. Take it down right now. Take it down. People are going to get sick. People are going to get harmed. Get rid of that speech. And Facebook goes along with that to get the government off their backs. Question, does that violate the First Amendment? It absolutely does, because the government can't do indirectly by intimidating Facebook what it's prohibited from doing directly, infringing upon or denying speech because of its content. The government can't take it down, but the government can use a carrot, we won't sue you, or a stick, we'll start investigating you, if Facebook doesn't take it down. Now, when Facebook does take it down, when Facebook does get in bed with the government, I'm not picking on Facebook. I'm telling you about a real case making its way through the federal court system in Texas. It happens as well with the other big tech, but the Facebook one, because it's in Texas and it's getting a lot of publicity. When Facebook does this, it will lose its ability to censor its own content, and the court will impose the First Amendment restrictions that apply to the government to Facebook if the court finds that Facebook is doing the government's bidding. So you get in bed with the government and you wake up with the same restrictions imposed by the Constitution on the government. If you get caught, if you have a few $1 million to file the lawsuit, if you can persuade a judge and a jury that this happened to you. It happens all the time and we don't even know about it. We know about it because Bobby Kennedy is a public person, because they kicked him off of Facebook, because some of the doctors who wanted their arguments to be on Facebook got kicked off. And in the course of that litigation, there are all kinds of emails from Facebook executives to each other saying, the White House is on our back. The government is after us. Get the government off my back. We got to do something about this.
Again, this is communism. It's Nazism. It's how dare they say what we should think? I'm not a moron. I write a magazine. I only put facts in it. And as you mentioned, this mRNA inoculation, it's the first gene therapy inoculation ever injected into a human body. And you can't question an Operation Warp Speed inoculation and say, listen, we need more data on this. No, how dare you? And again, it's not only censorship from the government. Look at all the media. They only had people on there promoting the COVID war. And I call it the COVID war, by the way, because that's what all the politicians, Trump, Boris Johnson, one after another in both parties, they called it, we're at war. And they use war because to sell fear. And when they sell the fear of war, the people march off to it. And all you need is to look at the facts. 88% of the people swallowed the crap spewing out of the mouth of that little nobody, George W. Bush. We're going to get that guy Osama bin Laden, dead or alive, and we go into Afghanistan, the longest war in American history that cost us, what, about $5 trillion or something. The numbers keep going on. So the people are dumb enough to believe this. They're dumb enough to believe anybody.
The whole purpose of the First Amendment is to keep the government out of the business of speech. Speech is a natural right that belongs to individual persons. The government does not have freedom of speech. The government has nothing to do with the marketplace of ideas. So the government sneakily goes behind the scenes to pressure those who own the bulletin boards, Facebook, Google, etc., to take down statements on the bulletin boards that the government hates or fears, or that challenge the government. That's absolutely prohibited by the Supreme Court. When a federal judge in Texas examined this evidence, he signed a nationwide injunction against the government, prohibiting it from communicating with any big tech about the content of speech. Of course, they can communicate with big tech about other regulatory issues, but not about the content of speech. An appellate court lifted that injunction, but I believe that the appellate court is about to reimpose it once it finishes looking at all the evidence in the case. Why does this happen? Because there is no outrage.
Yep.
There's outrage by Bobby Kennedy. There's outrage by Gerald Celente. There's outrage by Andrew Napolitano. There's outrage by libertarians. There's outrage by some progressives. But the vast majority of Americans are, ho-hum, the government suppressed somebody's freedom of speech. I don't care. Ho-hum, the FBI spied illegally on 278,000 Americans. We did that one last week. It wasn't me. What do I care? There's no outrage because there's no love of liberty anymore, because we are so immune to the government trampling our liberties. We expect it to happen.
No love for liberty. And what'd you say about them trampling our?
We are not scandalized when the government tramples our liberties because it happens so frequently. We expect it to happen.
And again, there people. There's no fight, and it's so sad that it's again, the people are so out of touch. You know, they don't know anything about anything. I mean, what do? You think they're reading about all the facts going on? They listen to sound bites, and that's all they know. You know, my father, may rest in peace. I just started learning about stuff, and I get upset. And he say, son, take it easy. People have little minds. And he's 100% right. I mean, again, what's your favorite war? World War I? No, I like the Peloponnesian War. How about the 100-Year War? Hey, what's your favorite crusade, Judge? The First Crusade or the 13th? You know, I mean, it's been going on forever. And the masses just march off.
They do.
And now, to me, they're dumber than ever. It was just people walking down the street. And you think I want to hear you screaming on your damn phone and the people are so out of touch with reality. They have no concept